And I apologize for not having the time to show up. I know that I want you to know that I enjoy it a lot. I really enjoy jumping on here, chatting with you guys. Please send me a number one in the chat. As usual, trying to get back in the swing of things. I've been traveling like you wouldn't believe. What's up? NEB BJJ Bully. What's up? Spencer Reeds, M Boggy, Danielle or Daniel at Ironman. What's up, everybody? Give me some hellos. Give me some chats. Tell me where you're calling from. That's everybody out on Instagram. For everybody out on all of the other channels, of course, hit me up with questions if I can help you. I'm here to help you. Comments, whatever. I think I was in Louisiana twice in the last 2 weeks. Just got back from New Orleans. Had a great time. Great food. Oh my God. Went to Lake Charles, the Silverbacks MMA gym out there. Ran a great camp with Wade Chalice. Wonderful Wade, as well as what's up Garcia Sports. Guys got Paul. I'm going to see him this weekend. Yeah, what's up, brother? Happy to see you. Noah Madsen, balls. All right, I think that's good. I don't know. Well, we got greetings, Hidden Leaf 777 from all the way from Australia. Welcome from Darwin. That's so cool. And Guano R. Chris gave me a number one. Thank you, brother. Greetings from Sweden. Sprouse, new here. What do I specialize in? Specialize in coaching, in particular coaching for coaching wrestlers transitioning to MMA and MMA guys and grapplers learning wrestling techniques for submission-oriented sport, as well as business coaching. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've started and sold multiple companies, some of them in the fitness space. If you've ever swung a mace bell or seen somebody swing in a steel mace, that's my brainchild. If you've seen anybody do a competitive catch-can match, that is my brainchild. I started that back in 2007. If you see somebody teaching or promoting catch-can, they're probably doing a variation of something that I did. So I don't know if that helps you, Sprouse. I also have worked in investment banking, mortgage banking. I've started and grown financial consultancies, particularly in the reverse mortgage space, as well as grown software companies into the $1 million annual recurring revenue, over millions of dollars in annual recurring revenue. So I am a business guy and a grappling guy, and I'm here to help you guys with whatever. I'm scanning I got a lot of people on the chat right now. I appreciate you guys. I saw that Hidden Leaf in Australia sent a request to be in the live video. I don't do that only because if you do that on Instagram, it doesn't show up to Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I do multi-channel broadcast. So that's the only reason. But hit me up with any questions. As you know, man, if you've been on this program, you'll know that I answer everything. Very busy. Been doing a couple camps. We've grown, added 2 new affiliates. Red Wolf Martial Arts in South Carolina. Welcome to Mike Mendoza and Wayne Martin. Super excited to have them. Jazz Jazz Glacius out in Hawaii. We have Scientific Wrestling Hawaii now. Look forward to doing some camps with them in the springtime. Been wrapping up camps here like crazy. We've got 2 left. If you guys you want to get out to Sterling, Colorado. Paul Garcia, who jumped on the call, I saw him give me a shout out. We're going to be at his gym this weekend in Sterling, which is in northern Colorado. It's on the border of Nebraska and Colorado. Going to be up there with my close friend, world champion Brandon Ruiz, field world grappling games champion, maybe 2-time. I think he's a 4th degree jiu-jitsu black belt, All-American, Greco-Roman, super stud. He's going to be out there with me coaching. And then we will wrap it up with our Pinion Hills camp with both Wade Chalice and Josh Barnett. You want to sign up for that. Coachingcatch.com is the registration page. We call them accelerator camps because they will accelerate your skills really, really fast. Make sure I'm not missing anybody commenting. I appreciate you guys. So, today I wanted to talk. I'm going to respect your time because I am literally slammed. I'm jumping on here. I have a client call in a little bit, so I don't want to be late for that. But I wanted to give you guys some love and attention and answer any questions or anything that I can do for you. What's up, Mad Science BJJ? Happy to see it. Fire Fist Viles. I'm probably messing that up. Sorry. 171 Renzo. I don't know if that's Portuguese. Akbar Fala 1980. What's up? Abamadi. Happy to see all you guys. So today I wanted to talk, I'm talking about this idea of big wins, right? The unstoppable power of resilience. And really what this is about, honestly, is kind of trauma, right? I want to talk to you about the role of especially childhood trauma in being successful. Okay. I think there's like huge parallels there. There's a couple great books out there. There's a research study called The Relationship Between Childhood Trauma and Peak Performance by Bruce Perry and Maya Zaslavitz. Sorry if I'm messing that up. Trauma and Resilience, The Role of Positive Adaptation by Ann Maston, and The Power of Adversity, How Trauma Can Shape Us for Success by Steve Stosny. And I just want to kind of talk about some of this, right? Like when it comes to being a peak performer, it's so funny because, right, how many of these superhero stories that we see, like Marvel movies and whatnot, or Batman, these superhumans come out of these massively traumatic childhood events, right? Jimmy Hovey, can you make an affiliated schools map? Dude, you read my mind, brother. I am actually in the process of trying to make that happen. We do have 17, I think we have 16 affiliate locations, plus 3 more affiliate coaches. If you're interested, DM me what city you are, where you are, and I'll send you the nearest gym until we can get the affiliate map up and running. I appreciate you guys' patience with that. It is literally exploded. Scientific wrestling, I have a lot of different ventures that I do. I just launched my new website. Check it out. No1, just like that. N-O, N, the letter O, and then numeral 1 .LLC. Yes, you don't have to have just .com. You can have .LLC, and I got No1 for my company. And man, it's all about revenue engineering. It's all about making you money. If you have a small business or you want to start a small business, I will help you with all the digital advertising. I will help you leverage AI as a solo entrepreneur so you could scale, so you could start hiring people. This is my expertise. I'm happy to help you guys. Check it out. I think you guys will dig it. We've had some really great testimonials. You can see them all on the website. Some of them written, some of them on video. I also do the 10X business coaching. I'm an elite 10X business coach for the one and only Greg Cardone. Ooh, from Kashmir. What's up, Faizan Ahmad? Love from Kashmir. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you guys. I know that we play very well in Iran. Jimmy Hovey. Yeah, just send me a DM on Instagram. As soon as I jump off here, I'll look at it and I'll send you the details on our locations. I think we have 2 in California, 2 in Arizona, 2 in Colorado, Oklahoma, Canada, Italy, UK, Orlando, South Carolina, Hawaii. I'm probably missing somebody, and I apologize. I'm just trying to do the best I can. Jera hates you all from Israel. What's up, dude? Bad username, but I appreciate the hello. K Loco says hello. And then I've got somebody trying to sell me stuff. Gotta love the live internet. Anyway, what is trauma's role in peak performance? And I kind of look at it as almost like a silver lining. What really got me thinking about this was something that Sean Strickland said I can't remember the exact line, but he was basically alluding to that, he had this really messed up traumatic childhood, but a lot of that he was able to channel in a positive way into a championship in MMA, a very difficult undertaking. So, let's talk a little bit about this, right? So, I don't know where to start because I don't want this to be like a pity party, right? Like, the whole point here is that I don't want this to be a drag because it's about childhood trauma, or really about like the crucible that childhood trauma can really be. So it's not a sob story. It really is about turning lemons into hopefully multi-million-dollar lemonade for you guys. Okay. So starting out, just to give you the quick sob story, I grew up as an only child. I was in broken homes. My parents had difficulty staying married, and would remarry, and it was difficult, right? Because here I am, the little kid, I got to get dragged around. I meet family or step family, whatever, and then because of no fault of my own, I'm like estranged from them over and over again, moving around. I don't know if that contributed to some of my health issues as a child. The stress, I know stress is a major driver of health problems. But, by the time I was 16, I had beaten gangrene poisoning from a botched surgery, appendectomy. I'd beaten cancer, had more surgeries than I can count on both hands. But I also earned a black belt during that time. Now, mind you, as a kid, I think I was 15 when I got it. But so despite all those things, I was still pushing hard, right? Moved to California when I was like 22. I graduated. I had seen the UFC in Denver because I went to University of Colorado. Was blown away by it back in '94. I was like, I need to do this. Let's see here. What do you know about Germany? I can't even pronounce your name. I have some German background in me. That's about it. A little bit. I'm a mutt. Got Spanish and Irish, German and Dutch, and a little bit of Native American. Jonathan Brown, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Happy to see you, brother. So anyway, I really wanted to go and I wanted to get involved with this mixed martial arts thing. It fascinated me. I've loved martial arts. I loved grappling. And so 22, I moved out to California. And I'll tell you, dude, it was brutal because I was poor as hell for a long time and had to overcome that and figure that out. I ended up going to graduate school. By the time I was 30, it took me a minute, but by the time I was 30, I had earned a master's degree in a very difficult subject matter known as financial engineering, which is a lot of risk management, mathematics, some computer programming, a lot of derivatives like financial derivatives, not just mathematical derivatives, but also financial derivatives. And I'm a freak. I not only during that time I had gotten involved in a weird way, and I those of you who know me or have heard these stories before, I got involved with pro wrestling right around 2000 and had some modest success in that. Toured the United States, went to Canada, Mexico, actually making money doing it. Got a tryout with the WWE back in the day. Especially when it was which was crazy because I think honestly it's a lot more accessible than it was back then. Back then it was very difficult to get a tryout, but managed that. What else? Oh, by the time I was 30, so we're talking 2003, not only had I gotten my master's degree, so I'd had an undergraduate plus a graduate degree, I had already taken on and traveled as a real professional wrestler. I had just launched Scientific Wrestling that year, right? So 3 years later, Scientific Wrestling is going. I'm working. We're talking 2006. I'm working with Billy Robinson. I've invented the Mace Belt, launched the King of Catch Wrestling, the first Catch as Catch Can tournament in nearly 100 years. I think the last legit one would be the Alhambra tournaments back at the turn of the 20th century. And, look, man, since then, I'm 50 now. I'm 50 years old, right? In 2023. And since then, not only has Scientific Wrestling grown, my wife and I have acquired a software company and grown that. We've got 3 wonderful kids. In fact, today is my middle child, Danzig, not named after the rocker, although my wife initially was inspired by Glenn Danzig. And I said, well, I don't think I'm going to name him after Glenn Danzig, but there is a mathematician. Those of you who know Good Will Hunting, there's that story where he was a janitor. And Jonathan's asking a question. What was my working name? I had 2. One was Mo Bush, the Tantric Torpedo, ridiculous. And then the other one was his alter ego, which was a luchador, and it was Libido Gigante. So ridiculous, but it was a fun time. I mean, pro wrestling's interesting because it's like the one place where an athlete can feel like a rock star. You got the loud music, you come out, people cheering, and yeah, it's really cool. I had a great time with it. But as I was saying, I'm 50 now. Got 16 locations for Scientific Wrestling worldwide. Helped thousands and thousands of athletes through the camps and coaching and running of gyms, and provided tons of educational opportunities and material for people through that. Started a reverse mortgage consultancy, helped with that. Very, very blessed, very, very blessed. And I think a lot of it does come from the resilience that I learned through my early childhood trauma, right? Like, why am I telling you all this, right? Because the real reason I'm telling you this is that if a kid who grew up alone and ill, like most of my childhood, can do it, I'm telling you that you can do it, okay? To me, I've always believed this. I believe that entrepreneurship and wrestling are the ultimate in personal development, the best ways to develop yourself, okay? And so, if you need help with either, I'm your guy for that, right? So on the entrepreneur side, speaking of help, that's why I brought up No1 LLC, No1 LLC. I've really designed this so it's a no-brainer, right? Have you ever heard that adage, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise? Well, a lot of times, especially nowadays, it's gotten very difficult to advertise it. If you've tried to get into the Facebook Business Manager and tried to figure out how to run ads, and not even anything complicated. I'm not saying geofencing or retargeting ads, which are 2 of the best things you can do, but just even running an ad. It's very complicated. Do you know what ROAS and how do you measure ROI, and how do you know if your ad spend, if your creative's actually working or not? There's a lot of complicated pieces that I've had to learn. And so my goal is to really help you guys shortcut all that, right? That's the goal with No1. In addition, on No1, so we do what's known as inbound marketing. We leverage all this fantastic AI stuff. It's been really great. But in addition to that, we have all these fantastic other technological things. Believe it or not, there's other technology, great automations for nurturing and really making sure that people know who you are, so they know that they want to do business with you. But in addition to that, we'll get you all the leads. In fact, especially if you're a B2B client, I can you say you hire me, we give you the leads. I'll give you 1,000 leads right away. So you could start calling, emailing, and contacting and start drumming up some business and making some relationships. But the problem is that I found that you could teach all these people or even just help them with the marketing, but then they don't know how to, you can help people promote, but they don't know how to convert. So this is the other part of No1. You may have heard me talk about No1 coaching, which is, closely tied with 10X business coaching. We offer, obviously, elite 10X business coach. I'm one of the first elite 10X business coaches. I was number 2 coach for Grant Cardone's organization last year. And in addition, I've launched, you might have seen me, I don't know if I have a copy just sitting here. I took them all with me on my travels, of Sportify, my new leadership method. And what we really are doing is transforming managers within companies into coaches and aligning everybody's performance with revenue. So really turning business into a true sport and winning with it. Anyway, I don't want to get too much on the sales pitch, but I need you guys to understand you've got, whether you had trauma or maybe you had a great childhood. Like for my kids, again, it's my son Danzig's 14th birthday. I've done everything to make sure that all three of my kids have had a fantastic childhood. First of all, mom and dad have been married for 18 years. So they've no broken homes, and none of my kids have spent any time in a hospital. So those are big traumatic things that I was able to break a generational curse with for them. But whether, you've had these traumas or you've not had these traumas, you need to really take a focus on trying to win, especially now, man. Everybody's trying to pull you off your pivot. Oh my gosh, we've got war. Oh my gosh, we got a recession, this, that, and the other thing. Oh, Biden did that and Trump did this and yada, yada, yada. Is any of that putting money in your pocket? Is any of that buying kids the brand new gaming desktop that they want for their Christmas? Is any of that paying down your house or funding your retirement? These are the questions you got to ask yourself. And if you get easily pulled off your pivot, this is a lot where, coaching comes in. So if you want to be a champion in the sport, you hire a coach. Venus Williams, Michael Jordan, all these people hired coaches themselves to push them to that next level because they realize, man, I'm just one person. I need a team. Anyway, I want you guys to know that, if you don't have all the trauma and whatnot, great. It could be, but if you have, and while it can be devastating, it is super important, if you're the person that's having it or if you know somebody that's having it, it's crucial to recognize the potential for trauma in terms of shaping peak performers, right? Because it really is things like adaptability, resilience, and staying focused despite awful distractions. They're really not just important, they're like a testament to what it means to be, a human being. And most of this really comes from mindset, right? Like maintaining that kind of unyielding motivation and drive. How do you enhance your focus? How do you get that unshakable concentration so you don't get pulled off your pivot, so you play your game and not the opposition's game? How do you determine the right amount of risk to take? How do you develop resilience, or even go further than just being robust, but this idea of hormesis, or I think, Nassim Taleb rebranded it as anti-fragile, that a shock actually makes you stronger, right? Like building a muscle. You have to destroy it and it comes back stronger. I just want you guys to understand that, for being a no one to being number one, it's mostly mental. And a lot of that mental is about persistence and taking massive action. But you won't be persistent and you won't take the massive action if your mind is not dialed in. You've got to really make sure that have clarity on your goals, and you've put your goals on North Florida Wrestling Show. Easier to 10x than 2x. Dude, this is the this is the truth. And not a lot of people realize this, that, to make $1,000 and $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million is the same amount of work. In fact, it like North Florida Wrestling Show is saying, it might even be less work. It's just different work. You got to do different work, and you got to deal with different people, and you can take charge of that. You take control of that. So that's a really great point. North Florida Wrestling Show. I appreciate that comment. So, all right, guys, I don't want to belabor any points, and I do want to get to my clients today. In fact, I'm going to make sure that I'm not late for this. Yeah, I'm still good. So I'm willing to take a few questions or if you have ideas or anything you want to share, or you want to give a shout out, I'll hang out for another couple minutes, but I haven't eaten any lunch. That's by design. I've really taken to intermittent fasting. So I do the 18 off, 8 on, and I don't really start until about noon. I'll eat from noon to 8. Stellar Steven, how was Wade at the camps? Wade was on fire. The thing is, you have to remember, and this happened with Billy before his passing, but Wade is 73. In fact, most people can't believe it. They see him and they're like, my God, you're 73. Because he's super spry, man. He's like still on the mat and cranking everybody, giving rib sandwiches and stuff like that. But sometimes if he's exhausted or whatever, just like any of us, the performance can degrade. But I'm going to tell you, man, the last 2 camps, he's been as good as I've ever seen him. So if you can, I would certainly do my best to get out there. And man, my power is going to fall off on this thing. So pardon me while I fix the power cord. There we go. Yeah, so I would highly recommend that you guys get out to camp. We got 1 camp left with Wade this year. That's at Pinion Hills. So I would definitely get out there if you can do it, Stellar Steven. You just never know, man. I mean, shoot, I could get hit by a bus. You could get hit by a bus. You've got to take action. And you got to, stop waiting. Stop waiting. Like, figure it out. The thing is if you really are committed and you're serious about something, you'll make it happen. You could figure it out. If it costs money or there's time, you've just got to take a little bit of your attention and put it to solving that problem. I am here to help you if you're having challenges and you need some help. I'd love to see you at camp. I'm here to help you get that, to get in the room. The number one rule of success, as Grant Cardone will tell you, is showing up. You got to get in the room. If that means you're carrying water or doing work, whatever, get in the room. That's really, really crucial. Show up. And then you've got to just work your ass off. There's no easy, it's so funny. And this is really ironic too, because, with No1 LLC, I do so much helping with people marketing and promoting and whatnot. And I'm just going to tell you, like, I added 100,000 followers for scientific wrestling through my methods, right? Like, I know what I'm doing. Those who've recently followed, I'm adding over 5 followers with a very minor ad spend, just mostly on strategy and whatnot. But I'm going to tell you, dude, digital is not even where it's at. Where it's at is some other marketing things and rolling up your sleeves, picking up a phone and like doing even like cold calling and stuff. People don't want to do it. So there ain't no such thing as get rich quick. That's like sustainable or real, but there is get rich for sure. And there are strategies. Let's see here. North Florida Wrestling Show. Why do you think scientific wrestling, catch wrestling, has made a bigger comeback in recent years? I'm going to be honest, because I've been pushing the living hell out of it for 20 years, like kind of like ridiculously, and nobody else has. And what ends up happening when you do that, eventually you break that critical mass, and then everything starts just snowballing. So the fact that since 2007, 2003 is when we started, and I've been very deliberate in the plan. I've said this, you can go back, find interviews on it, same thing, and I've done it deliberately. Phase 1 was education. We had to get the grappling literacy out there, break through the cultishness, break through the marketing bullshit, break through the advertising and all the PR, and get to the facts. And so phase 1, 2003 to about 2007, was me putting out instructionals, publishing books to establish, these submissions predate what everybody is saying on the commentary on the UFC or whatever, and getting the grappling literacy to a decent level. Stage 2 was then actually hands-on education. So this is when we launched the accelerator camps, right? We started by calling it the Certified Catch Wrestler Program. It eventually turned into coaching catch and the accelerator camps, and now call it the Science of Violence Tour because we do like 20 of these camps a year, which is crazy. And that's been going for 15 years. That same year, we also launched the King of Catch Wrestling, and that rule set has been either used, like sanctioned, or people have ripped it off, and it's fine because, for me, it's about getting adoption of the sport. And a lot of times, if you're actually a leader, that's how some people can't handle it. They want to pretend it was them, but they copy you. And it's like, okay, well, I actually am glad you're doing it. It'd be nice to get credit, but whatever. And so there's been a lot of people really following our lead and putting out competitions. In addition, I've been pushing very well. And then, we've had a couple big books like Say Uncle and whatnot have had some modest success. And then, I think, what I've been doing with Shoot Pro Wrestling has really caught a lot of people's imagination, and a lot of people can now get the vision. I think I was knocking on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu doors, and I don't blame them. They were trying to sell BJJ, not, it's like trying to get a Baptist to push the Book of Mormon. Like they're not going to do it, right? So, in this case, I guess maybe it was having a Baptist or a Mormon try to push, I don't know, natural selection or something. I'm trying to make a shitty scientific metaphor here, but yeah, I think a lot of it is this critical mass from pushing so hard, and then having guys really support the effort. On big stages, guys like Josh Barnett and like one of my coaches, Frank Shamrock, and these guys. So it's been exciting, dude. I think it's really exciting. We've been hockey sticking. North Florida Wrestling Show says, I love grappling, but it's always so weird when I get asked what belt I am when I roll with high-level BJJ guys. No gi. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to kind of solve that problem with the weaponized wrestling black belt that Wade Chalice is putting out. Like he's I was very blessed. I didn't mention this. I was very blessed. He gave me a 3rd degree black belt in wrestling for my contributions to, what I've done the last couple decades for the sport and for pinning and whatnot. But we're trying to do that so that wrestlers can map, because the fact is that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has really been popular, and they have spearheaded a lot of the competition. This is the one thing that I will always, people are always like, why are you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about half the time. I make posts and people are like, why all the hate on this page? It's like, dude, you're insecure because there's no hate coming here. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't do it. I've done it. I don't do it. And I have a lot of friends that do it. And in fact, most of my client base comes from people that are looking to fill holes in that game with what we do. So I love it. I had problems with it. In fact, if it weren't for the holes, I wouldn't have had my success. But we're trying to do skill mapping so that guys that are wrestlers can have an idea of, oh, well, I entered the tournament here. My belt rank is this and yada, yada, yada. So we're trying to address that. But you make a great point. Ultimately, belts don't even matter. Stellar Steven, logo stickers in the future. I think it'd be good to put on water bottles. Yeah, it's so funny because it is such, like, you're 100% right. It is like the most obvious thing. And I've always sucked at merch. So fortunately, I've got, actually as one of our league coaches, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, 3rd or 4th degree black belt, and also a guy who spent a lot of time with Billy and I, Sam Crescent is in charge of merch. So he does great stuff. He's a great artist, but he's all really good at like screen printing, and he does like patches, like the embroidery and stuff. He has a like really high-end machinery that does a lot of that stuff. So hopefully in 2024, I've challenged him to really start putting out some stuff so you guys can get some more merch. I do, like, every once in a while I'll do a run on rash guards, or I'll do a run on shirts and whatnot. You guys got to kind of stay tuned for it. That is my own shortcoming. You're 100% right. I need to spend more time developing merch. Evil Dead 81, strength training for grappling over 40. I highly recommend yoga, dude. I mean, I will tell you this. Because of my injury with my strokes and the carotid dissection, I do not really grapple hard anymore. So I don't have the same wear and tear that like a 40 or 50-year-old that's going hard all the time. I do consider myself a very serious coach though. And I try to look at these things and what's working for my athletes and whatnot. I think yoga is an incredibly fantastic complement to any grappling regimen. I think yoga is fantastic. I also think that you need to get serious about figuring out how to ice uh, your body and how to deal with injuries, and you need to get real serious about sleep because growth hormone is produced while you sleep. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. I don't think, honestly, the linear bodybuilding or powerlifting, maybe deadlifts are good. I would keep doing deadlifts if you're doing those, but I wouldn't overload the joint with weight. I would focus more on very high repetition. So you'll see this with kind of Carl Gotch's method of working out, and I do that to this day. I did 300 squats over the weekend, a bunch of push-ups. So calisthenics, I think, are great. Obviously, I'm going to push the mace bell. I think that's proven itself over centuries to be a fantastic complement, particularly for grip strength. I don't know if that helps, but I hope that helps you. Give you just my perspective on things. North Florida Wrestling Show. With NCAA D1 wrestling being on UFC Fight Pass, can you see a pro folk style belt in a couple of years? Listen, Matt Case tried to do that with Real Pro Wrestling. I was there. I went to the shows. I got free tickets from him back in the day. That was the first time I ever saw King Mo. It stuck in my mind. That's why I've been so stoked to have him on the Science of Violence tour this year. Risen champ, Bellator champ, NCAA, or a USA freestyle senior nationals champ, I think. Great guy. Anyway, I don't know, dude. You got to go read Wade Chalice's blog. I think he's very, very smart about some of the problems that we're seeing in NCAA, scholastic wrestling, collegiate wrestling. I don't know, man. I like wrestling, but it's very complicated. There's a lot of freaking rules. And I think that becomes a barrier to entry for your casual fan. And if you don't have casual fans, it's very hard to build a sustainable sport from a revenue standpoint. Wrestling's always struggled with this. And, if you keep it real simple, like UFC is real simple, knockout or submission. WWE is real simple, even though it's not real, but, it simulates pin or submission. And that's, again, goes to what my strategy has been is I believe, to your question directly, I think it would be very, very difficult. Very difficult. You'd have to get rid of a lot of rules, honestly. And I think if you're going to just go that route, I think you should just have pins and submissions. Now you have basically true professional wrestling rules, which is exactly, go over to Shoot Pro Wrestling. Look at my rule set, shootprowrestling.com. I have not only the rule set, I have the roster, I have all the matches from singles matches, tag team tournament matches, triple shoots, which is like a triple three. It's a three-way single man tag. It's crazy. We pulled it off. So that's what I'm really trying to do. And by the way, I'm reading this great book. It's called Who You Know, or no, Who Not How. Yeah, no, Who Not How. And it really talks about leveraging, getting help in your vision. And I've got a very big, complex vision, and I need help. If you think you can help me get Shoot Pro Wrestling in front of a lot of people, currently we're in talks. Our strategy right now is to really go into professional wrestling organizations and ask them, why can't we have Shoot at the table? We're not looking to change the model. It works. You guys keep all your entertainment, performance wrestling, lean into it, do more of it by all means. But I can bring a demographic of people interested in the UFC people interested in grappling to your show by having a couple of the matches be shoot matches. So that's really where we've had a lot of success recently. And we've got some very interesting talks happening. I'm not really at liberty to discuss them right now because the ink isn't dry on any of these deals. But if you think that you can help me with that, I would definitely love it. I would also love any help with us amplifying our affiliate programs, right? We've had great success in the last year. Like I said, we have 16 different locations, including Italy, UK, Canada, and a bunch across the United States. But I do need more affiliate locations. Honestly, people ask me like, oh, about this, that, or Catch Group. I'm like, they're not even my competition. Like, honestly, like who I feel is somebody that I'm trying to catch up to and even do better than, because they've inspired me, is like 10th Planet. They have 170 locations. They are literally 10 times bigger than us. Now, we've only been around 1 year. So I would like to be able to, in 2 years, be able to be at 150 locations. We offer the very best deal in the business. If you go and you actually look at the offer, it is a complete no-brainer. Like, you're stupid if you don't do it and you own a gym. You can go check out scientificwrestler.com, but I'm looking for people for that. I'm looking for people to help with Shoot Pro Wrestling. So you can DM me. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's see. Any other questions here? Just scanning. Appreciate Brian Purdue. It's been like 7 years and I still don't understand how to spladle. Dude, okay. So one of the easiest ways to spladle is as a defense off of a single leg, but you have to push. It can't be a head outside. That right? And if somebody's coming and they got your leg, push the head into the belly, grape that near side leg that they've tried to pick up, grape it with their leg, and then lean over and grab the head with your belly and grab the hamstring in the far side leg and just roll over and you'll have the spladle. We have a bunch of great instructionals. You can go to scientificwrestling.com, get Killer Cradles by Wade Chalice or Legal Pain by Wade Chalice. There's a ton on YouTube. There's a million ways to get into it. That's just one of the easier ways on defense. Hope that helps. Evil Dead says, thanks, Coach. Yes, sir. Of course. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through here and I get long-winded. But North Florida Wrestling Show. Thanks for the chat. Love to have you on sometime. We just had Wade on and he was awesome. Yeah, I think I might have shared that interview you did with him. Wade is truly a genius, like savant level genius about the sport of wrestling. And it's been a privilege, man. I mean, the guy's like my uncle. I'm just going to be honest. Like, it's transcended just after 20. I've been with him 20 years, right? So, such a genius. My own wrestling IQ. You know, if you want to get better at snowboarding, you go with the guys that are really good at snowboarding and you get better. And man, Wade he's been one of those guys. Him and Billy have just absolutely, completely shaped my thought process on multiple levels. So, all right, guys, if you don't have any other questions or comments or ideas, I'm going to wrap. I would like, again, to suggest, please check out No1 LLC. I am here to help you and your friends that have small businesses actually win. If you are making under $3 million a year, you need to invest, not in grad school like me, dude. Do you know how much I dropped on education? We're talking $70,000, $80,000 on grad school, right? You don't need to drop that much. I will show you what to do, and half that shit don't work. I'm gonna be real. Like, yeah, it got me into some rooms, and that was worth it. Getting a master's degree in a very difficult discipline got me some rooms, and getting in those rooms was where I was actually learning, sitting with billionaires, right? Like, not just Grant Cardone. I had a couple of guys I worked for in the past that had boutique investment banking companies, helping companies with debt restructures and acquisitions and whatnot. And I learned so much, and I am here to help you. And it literally is a fraction of what I spent, and it's got real ROI. So if I can help you, or you know somebody struggling, especially in this recession, I'll tell you what you need to do. I've proven it. And you can go check out all the testimonials at No1 LLC. Second, I've told you, entrepreneurship, the ultimate form of personal development. I also believe that goes hand in hand with wrestling. So if you guys are looking for a challenge, something to learn, something to really accelerate your knowledge, you got to get to one of our camps first and foremost. Go to coachingcatch.com. We have 2 opportunities right now still. We have a Colorado camp, and we have the camp in the Mojave Desert out in Southern California coming up before end of year. You can get in the room and, again, be with like world champion level guys. Josh Barnett, Wade Chalice, Brandon Ruiz. And then, of course, I'll be there spewing all the stuff that I've learned over the last 25 years in really seriously studying, in particular, Catch as Catch Can. Stellar Steven asked a question. Did I watch Barnett's Wigan match? I didn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be real. Like, I really love what they've done in the last couple of years. I don't know if they've listened to my criticism, but they've gone from doing this weird, their world championship used to be like people that went to a camp and then like randos, like not champion level people, and then having them do a tournament, and it was a disaster to watch. Like, it wasn't high level people. And, I was polite, but I'm like, this is not good. They've evolved that, and they've opened it up, thank God, and started bringing people outside of their gym to actually start competing, guys like Owen Lively and Josh Barnett. And hopefully that will help them. But, they do really great on the production. Like, it looks like $1 million. They've done a really great job. And I don't know why they don't reach out to me. I'm sure they got their own personal pride, or, like how the jiu-jitsu thing is or something. I don't know. They need a lot of help with marketing. I'm a genius at it. I just hate to say it, but I could blow them up overnight. But I didn't watch it because of that. It was difficult to watch. Like, I'm like, what link? And how do I do this? And anyway, so I'm going to, if I get some time this week, I don't have a flight. Probably next time I have a flight, which will be next week, I'll get the pay-per-view and then I'll watch it. I know that Josh's team did very well. I know Josh. Josh is such a great athlete. I can't even imagine being still competing with the young studs, and he's in his mid-40s. Like, the guy's just superhuman, honestly. But I asked him, because he lost a very close decision, and he was in foreign territory too. So I asked him what he learned, and he said, "Dude, I gotta figure out how to really pick the lock on these guys that are very defensive and don't really take much risk." So I'm excited to watch his match. I know that his team walked away with like 5 different wins and really dominated. I'd like to have, one of the things in the back of my mind, it's not at the top of my list, but I'd love to put together just a decent level D1 team, folk style guys, and have them come to a couple camps and then send them over there, drop a nuke on that whole thing. I think that'd be fun. But they do a great job. I highly recommend you guys, if you guys can figure out, you're better than me, go figure out how to watch it. They do a great job. And, Andrea Wood is really a great human. Roy's a nice guy. I've met him a couple times, talked to him and stuff. I don't know him that well, but I've spoken quite a bit with Andrea, off the cuff or whatever. And she is just a really great person. So Stellar Steven says, enjoyed your Neil Melanson podcast interview from years ago. Yeah, Neil's a great guy. I really love everything that he's about. It's funny because everybody now, it's kind of trendy to talk about cradles. Like, Dave Patrone has had a lot of success with that. I was very proud to be able to introduce him to the guys at PJ Fanatics. I saw what he was doing. I'm like, dude, I love it. Let's go. But, a lot of that actually started with Neil. And a lot of that with Neil started when I put Neil and Wade together on a camp back in like 2000. I want to say it was 2016, 15. I can't remember. Put them in. I could see the wheels turning. And, Wade is just such an innovative guy and an integrator. Not only is he innovative, but he knows how to really integrate things very well. Yeah, Neil is a great dude. I wish him more power to Neil Melanson. He's a great guy. Plus, I don't feel like the Gene LaBelle. I try to do the best I can. I didn't spend a ton of time. I worked out with at Gene and Go Course in North Hollywood for less than a year. Like I think it was 9 months. So I don't feel like I'm really a guy to push. Like I worked with Billy for 7 years, right? I've been with Wade 20 years, and he gave me the first ever black belt in wrestling. So I feel like I can speak to their methods. I don't feel like I can do that so much with Gene. So I'm really glad that Neil is out there kind of pushing that Go Core Gene style, because it's freaking amazing. And I really, Gene LaBelle was very good to me at a certain point in my life. He was a really, really great guy. Really helped me out a lot. Jonathan Brown, what's up, dude? Says, as long as it's still fun, there's no reason to stop. I think he's talking about pro wrestling. Yeah, I toy with the idea of getting back into pro wrestling. I'm just so far removed from it. And honestly, I probably don't know what I'm doing on the ring psychology stuff much anymore. I used to be pretty good, but I was good at being hated. And unfortunately, sometimes that's carried over into my personal life. Yeah, I don't know if I could do pro wrestling at this stage of my life. Always saying all competition. Yeah, well, with one carotid artery and a broken neck, and strokes, and my right arm doesn't work because it's the left side of my brain that has the carotid cut off the oxygen. That when my arm stopped working, the other thing is I've always leveraged my my cardio. It just, even before knowing of Carl or whatever, I always had wind in the tank and I could always go. But now I have half the oxygen and I get very lightheaded. So I live in Colorado, so I still actually have pretty good VO2 max, but it's just not the same. And I'm 50 and I'm just in a different place. And I've really, it's like the show was about resilience and how do you adapt. And what I did, it was depressing. I'm going to be honest, when I had to quit because of medical reasons. However, adapting and going into coaching was one of the greatest things for me, myself personally, that I've ever done. I've never regretted it. I really enjoy helping people and helping people win and succeed. So whether it's business coaching or with scientific wrestling, that's been a real great adaptation. And that is truly something I don't see myself doing until the day I die. So yeah, great points, Jonathan. Appreciate that. Stellar Steven says Blackpool Combat Club needs Jake. I don't know. I think they're doing just fine. William Regal, most of you guys don't know, but William Regal kind of comes down the line. And a lot of people are in this lineage, So like, I think it's like Eric Paulson. It's like I saw a shirt or a graphic. It was like Carl Sayama. What's Yuri Nakamura, I think, or I'm probably messing that name up. And then from the Shudo line, right? I've just been so blessed, man. It's like Carl, me, Billy, me, Wade, me, Frank Shamrock, me. Like I was been very lucky to go straight to the source on some of those things. But William Regal, it goes William Regal, Marty Jones, Bill Robinson. So, I think they're in good hands. I wouldn't mind, like I said, I'm really trying to figure out, like, I would love to have a conversation with somebody at AEW to bring on a shoot pro division. I would love to have a conversation with somebody at TKO for WWE. Let's bring on a shoot pro division. I'd love to talk to somebody at NWA. I'd be like, hey, Smashing Pumpkins, let's do a shoot pro division. You keep the performance guys separate. I mean, it is what it is. Stellar Stevens says, I asked Paige's mom about Marty Jones on a podcast a while back. I love Regal. Yeah, William Regal's a cool dude. Even before, when I was doing pro wrestling, Dave, what is the guy that he used to work with? Dave, I was going to go to one of his camps because I loved William Regal. And even when I was pro wrestling, I always gravitated towards the guys like, his name is Taboo, but like Chris Benoit, the more technical guys, those are the guys that I enjoyed, right? So yeah, Jonathan Brown, what's up? Says, I understand. I stopped flying because after warming up in the back, I just didn't want to go out there. It happens, dude. And life changes and whatnot. Dave Taylor. Yes. Yes. That's the name Stellar Stephen. Thank you. Dave Taylor. Yeah. He was doing camps. This had to be 2002, 2001. And I remember I was going to go and something came up. I was working in Berkeley. I remember it like it was yesterday, honestly, even though 20 years ago. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. Av Cowboy says, thanks for all the tips. Hope it helps, man. Appreciate you. I would bring in on the live. I tell you this to everybody, but I'm broadcasting on this camera to Instagram, and then I'm broadcasting to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube on this other camera. And so if I did that, people on Instagram would hear you, but then the 98% on the other channels wouldn't. So that's the only reason. If you ask me questions, leave me comments, I'll read every one of them, even if their insults are not nice. I do try to do the best I can until the technology is such. I used to have a radio show years ago. I had my own live two-way talk radio show on the third oldest talk radio station in the country. It's called K Talk out of Salt Lake. I loved it. I loved doing the live two-way talk and let you guys get on the air and enjoy the audience and whatnot. But yeah, I don't have the technology right now. I'm using a couple multi-channel streaming apps, and they just don't quite have the ability to have callers call in. I would love that. I'm hoping someday that gets fixed. All right, guys. If there's nothing else, I really appreciate you guys showing up. I will try to show up more frequently. I know that I haven't been on here in probably a month. I really try to get on here daily. But it has been so busy. It's unbelievable. I mean, think about it. Like, this is the thing, man. You've got to grind. I've been on a plane almost every single weekend in a different city. Fantastic things happening, making deals, blowing stuff up, getting a third-degree black belt from literally the greatest wrestler in the history of wrestling. All this stuff, but it's just, I'm so slammed. This is why I need help too. So if you think you are on the mission, whether it be a mission of success for business, I will help you. But in particular, if you think you're on the mission of scientific wrestling, which aims to help every single man, woman, and child on the planet through what we have to offer at scientific wrestling, that's not just Shoot Pro for fans. I'm talking fitness at the Mace Bell and the Carl Gotch fitness program. I'm talking actually grappling, talking MMA training, all of that. Fan, athlete, coaches, business people, promoters, gym owners. We're really trying to make a dent in the universe. And if you really love what I've done in the last 20 plus years with scientific wrestling, I would love to have you involved. I sincerely would. We've been doing such fantastic stuff. And I'm just blessed to have all you guys' support over all the years. Again, it's just unreal. So I'm really excited for the future. And if you really think that you can help me, you know that that I will give you everything I got. So, guys, hit me up in the DMs if there's any questions, anything I can do to help you, any questions I might be able to answer. And otherwise, you can make an appointment with me if you do go to No1.LLC. There's a form, goes right to my calendar, goes right onto my calendar. I will give anybody 15 minutes of my time. Okay. And I sincerely, people pay me. I have clients that pay me thousands of dollars for 45-minute call. I will give anybody 15 minutes. There's not a lot, but you will literally be drinking from the fire hose. Have your notebook ready. I will listen to what your problem is, and I will tell you what I would do to solve it. And if it has to do with building a business or bringing in revenue and income, or it has to do with grappling in particular, catch can, I'll give you everything I got. So I appreciate you guys so much, and I will do my best to stay tuned. If you can make it out to Colorado this weekend, I'd love to see you. Sterling, Colorado. It's about an hour, 15 minutes from DIA. You can get out there. There's cheap B&Bs and whatnot. Come out there 2 days of fantastic training before you go pig out for Thanksgiving. And then you can come afterwards to the Mojave Desert and come work out with Josh Barnett and White Chalice as well. Come hang out with me. Appreciate you guys. I will, hopefully I'll be on here tomorrow. I'll do my best about the same time.